Hello and welcome my fellow plastic addicts to another edition of Marvel Legends Ideal Waves. With the release of the Doctor Strange movie coming up in the end of the month, and with the Marvel Legends wave being, well, meh, I thought I'd have a stab at trying to create the ideal wave for me of Doctor Strange. Same rules as before, 8 figures per wave, 1 bath. The title character has to be in it. It needs to have 2 villains and 2 females. 2 females can also be a villain or the title character. And the theme for this wave is mystic characters. So let's start off with the title character, Doctor Strange. For this Doctor Strange, we're going to go with the classic version. When Hasbro announced that they were going to do a Doctor Strange wave that will include a comic book version of Doctor Strange, everyone assumed it would be an updated version of the classic. Instead, we got a Malibu Stacy treatment, and they released the Hulkbuster Doctor Strange with a new cape. To make it up for us, if Hasbro was to do another Doctor Strange wave, they should give us the classic version. Now, the classic version can be used using the same build as the Hulkbuster wave, with a new skirt to represent his tunic, as well as the cape from the recent Doctor Strange wave. Now, if they want to make it even better, they can decide to give us a mask swappable head to give us the mask version that I was talking about last week. Next we go to the 2 female figures of the wave, and the first being Clea. She is the daughter of Doctor Strange's arch enemy Dormammu, as well as the sorceress Umair. She eventually became Doctor Strange's apprentice, and eventually his lover and then wife. She actually eventually decided to take over the Dark Dimension and began ruling until Dormammu came back and took over again. The reason I believe that Hasbro didn't include it in the first wave of Marvel Legends is because she's not in the movie. Granted, that's because the movie is focusing more on his origin. Now, if they get a second movie, the director has said that he will try and include Clea and maybe Dormammu. That's a big maybe. As such, this one should be included in a second wave of Doctor Strange, as it is. She should use the Moonstone body mold, and with a bit of different parts like the shoulder pads and stuff. Next up is Elsa Bloodstone. Alright, this is a bit out there for me, but I have a few reasons why I want to include her. Elsa Bloodstone is the latest, or was the latest until Avengers Arena, of the Bloodstone family to inherit a meteorite that gave the family immortality as well as mystic magical powers. She was part of many teams, but the most famous one she's part of is the Next Wave. And given that we're getting a Spectrum figure next year, or in the coming years, as well as the fact that we have Machine Man, I think Hasbro needs to finish off that team as it is. Just include the captain and Boom Boom, which could be included in the X-Men wave. We also have Dark Angle, which was part of the Next Wave comic book as well. So to have him and not have Elsa Bloodstone or the rest of the team is basically just, I know it was just fan service for the fans, but we really need to complete that team as it is. She should use mainly a new body mold because we don't have a trench coat female figure yet. And she should come with her 2 magic shotguns, which I think is a really good character design for her. She was also one of my main fighters in the now debunked Avengers Alliance video game that was on Facebook. Next up is Damon Hellstrom, also known as the son of Satan, or Hellstorm. He is basically what his name says, he's the son of Satan. Except he was part of the Defenders and he's usually a good guy, but he changes every once in a while. He was also one of many characters to be nominated for the Sorcerer Supreme by Doctor Strange, until it was eventually given to Brother Voodoo. Now, I can understand why Hasbro is reluctant to release this character, but there's many ways to get around that, such as getting rid of the pentagram and not using the Triton, instead use the name or Odin Trident or Spear or whatever you want to call it. Next up is Blade. Can you believe after 15 years of collecting Marvel Legends, we still do not have a comic book version of Blade? We've gotten the Series 5 Wesley Snipes Blade, but that was Wesley Snipes' plain Blade. It wasn't a comic book version. Hasbro did try and get another one out before during the Epic Heroes run. It was a swap for the Punisher figure. But because stores didn't order a second batch of them, it didn't materialize. Hasbro has said that they're going to try and release Blade as soon as they can. Rumours being that it'll be released as a Walgreens exclusive for Doctor Strange, but as it is at the moment, he hasn't been released yet. It will be an all new figure, so put him in a second wave of Doctor Strange might be a better idea. Speaking of vampires, the next figure I want to release is the Dracula figure. The armoured version in particular. Dracula has been the king of vampires in Marvel for quite a while, and it should be noted that before Blade was even introduced, he was a main villain for Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange even used a dark book to rid the world of vampires, until some of the vampire hunters, I forget which one it was, released Dracula from imprisonment. So vampires are now part of the Marvel Legends universe as it is. Now, we did get a Dracula figure in the hard to find Marvel Monsters box set from Toy Biz, but the one I want is the armored version, because the one we got in the box set was a stereotypical I want to suck your blood type of figure. As such, it's really outdated and it really needs an update. So I think the armor version is a better version for Dracula. It was also the version used in the Avengers Assembled cartoon, so it has a good chance of being made because of that. Next up is the Baron Mordo figure. Now, I don't have anything against the person playing Karl Mordo in the movie. I know he's a fantastic actor and his name is hard to pronounce. I wanted to try it. And he's going to do the character justice, I know that. He might not be evil, but he's going to make one hell of a performance. However, after this long of Marvel Legends, we still do not have Doctor Strange's most frequent villain, not his arch villain because that's Dormammu, but his most frequent villain in Baron Mordo. And we really need a figure to fight against Doctor Strange as it is, as a servant for Dormammu or any other magical type of villain. Speaking of the Doctor Strange villain, the last villain I want to be made is Nightmare. Nightmare is the ruler of the dream dimension, and he uses dreams to try and invade the realm of reality. The reason I want this is because we basically get Doctor Strange's three main villains, that being Dormammu, Baron Mordo, and Nightmare. The only thing that would be bad about this figure is that he won't come with his horse. And while he could use one of the thinner builds like a Spider-Man, he really needs a tall type of character. So I think the all-new 2099 figure would work best for him. As for the Build-A-Figure, there is only one Build-A-Figure I could think of. Well, there was two, the other one being the mindless one, but I want a unique character. So I picked Suma Gorath as my Build-A-Figure for this wave. Suma Gorath has been different sizes in each carnation he has appeared. Sometimes he's the size of a human, and sometimes he's a massive towering beast. So for a Build-A-Figure, it's a good one. He would be broken down into basically 6 tentacle pieces, 4 will be similar to each other with a different design each, and 2 will be coiled at the bottom to allow the figure to stand. You will also have a center piece which will be broken into the front and back pieces, with one piece coming to each person. Now they could include an articular eye, but that would be kind of gross. Well, it won't be the most articulated figure, basically because the only parts that could move would be maybe the tentacles rotating around the centerpiece. It has been highly requested because of his inclusion in the Marvel vs. Capcom beat 'em up. Well, that's my wave for Doctor Strange. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What is your ideal wave for Doctor Strange? If you wish to look up some Doctor Strange costumes, click on the annotation here. And if you wish to look at any other ideal waves, I did one for Spider-Man before, click on the annotation here. If you have a suggestion for any of the Near Complete set or the ideal waves or anything you want me to go over, please comment below. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. Follow us on all the social media sites and the website. Links in the description are below. I'll be back next week where we have a look at what has been made and what has been made of the Ghost Riders. So I'll see you when I see you.